Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining No Cap Radio. This is another episode that we have here, and we're excited for these guests. We're here at the Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce, and we have two lovely guests, Miss Ernisha and Miss Tracy. Oh, they told me not to call them Miss.
Okay.
This is Tracy. I mean Tracy and Ernisha, and Domi and Easy. So I'm gonna alley-oop to you, sir.
Well, I think, man, the biggest thing, first off, we appreciate y'all to come in and, meet with us. But the thing that got me was, y'all right under our nose, right here in the city of Fredericksburg. Honestly, I didn't have any idea about it. So we just want to get a little background on the Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce, from you guys.
Okay. All right. So we started in January 2020. We started off as a directory. Our goal was to truly just be a repository for Black businesses in Virginia. I'm from New York, so for me, it's all about my people and my community. And I found that as a business owner, we also own a website and graphic design company. So people would say, you know any Black on this or Black on that? And they want to support each other, but we didn't know how to find each other. So we came out with a printed directory, a website, and a mobile app. And that was supposed to be it, right? But then as we grew and we got to know the community more, we saw the business gaps. We saw the needs in our community. We saw the disparity. And so that's when we was like, okay, we're going to do something a little bit more. We continued to be the Virginia Black Business Directory. We continued that, and we still are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. However, last year, as we got to have over 1,100 members, we knew we had to pivot. Because we started to hit a glass ceiling in our community. We started to have struggles with funding, but the need was still there for our members. So the next thing was we put our heads together and said, what's next? Did some research. You won't believe, in the state of Virginia, there's never been a state Black Chamber of Commerce. There are regional Black chambers. In other states, there are state Black chambers, but there have never been one for the entire state for our community. And so I said that was the next step. Yeah. We are going to be the Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce. And we registered the business last year, June 9th. And we are also a nonprofit organization under that organization as well. And here we are today.
Okay, so this was really to connect different small Black businesses to support each other. Is that?
That's how it started. It was all about building those relationships and connections, but then we found more was needed. And so as a chamber, we now also offer education, development for business owners. If you want to start a business, but you don't know where to start, knock on our door. We'll help you out, and we'll help you register the business. Because oftentimes you'll find somebody say, oh, I can register your business for you, get your EIN, and they want to charge you $750. Well, we'll do that for free here because we want to see you thrive, sustain, and win. And so we do that by helping you with the first few steps of your business. But then once you become a member, we have workshops all year round, a minimum of 4 a month, that you can attend virtually, and they're live. So it's not like you gotta watch something later. You get to actually talk, ask questions, and learn how to run your business.
Wow, so you're putting a lot of these small business consulting groups out of business.
Oh no, you don't want to do that? No, but that could be seen that way. But however, if they become a member of the Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce, what then happens is we learn how to collaborate and work together. So instead of reinventing the wheel, I'll use podcasting for an example. A lot of chambers have a podcast. We don't want to have a podcast. We want to support podcasts. So we have a category for podcasts. A woman called this week and she said, I'm trying to get my business out there. Can I be on your podcast? I'm like, we don't have a podcast. She got upset. She was like, no, somebody told me you have a podcast. I said, we don't have a podcast, man, but we have a category of podcast owners. And they would be more than happy to help amplify your voice and your business on their podcast. And I gave her the category and a whole list of podcast companies that we have as members.
Yeah.
So we don't put people out of business. We amplify their business.
And I would even liken it to being like a conduit, right? So we get, it's like a pipeline. We get the information from other organizations and we pass it on. So it just opens up, the community of business that we have to the information that we have access to, because we're in different rooms than they are, right? We're with economic development authorities or with other state and local organizations. So they may not be able to be there, so we can act as a conduit to get the information to them. So
That's perfect. Yeah.
And you mentioned the directory. You do a annual directory. What else? You said you said all the members are listed. How many members did you say there were?
Over 1,100.
Over 1,100. What did you start with? If you don't mind me asking. Like what?
You know what's funny? I don't mind you asking. I don't know if I'm allowed to get up in the podcast. Like, is that
what you wanted to do.
Oh.
No radio.
All right. So I got you right here. So when we started, the first one we had was this one. We had 800 members by the summer.
Wow.
We did a holiday guide.
Yeah.
I know this
last year.
Yeah, and this was last year. Last year we might have had about almost 1,000.
Yeah.
1,000
Yeah.
last year.
I want to say
Yeah,
right
within the
before we
first
hit
year,
the 1,100
600.
mark. Yeah. So these are each of the holiday ones a little bit different, but these are how they've grown and elevated. But the first year, by the end of the first year, we did have 800 businesses listed. And
Wow.
during the first year, at least 40% of them were here in Fredericksburg.
Yeah.
40%.
Yeah.
At least, so I want to say even now, at least 300 to 400 members are from the Fredericksburg region, Fredericksburg, Stafford, and Spotsy.
That's amazing because people don't realize how much black business.
It's a lot.
And this
It's a
is the
lot
most
in our
recent
area.
one here.
Yeah, that's the most recent.
So now all these businesses,
Everything you need. Everything you need.
do you guys accept any business? Is there any type of requirements for a business to join with you guys?
Not at all, other than integrity. That's what I'm gonna say. We do not discriminate. We are inclusive. I don't care how old you are, what color you are. It's all about sustainability and seeing you win, right? However, we do amplify the black business community. It's about educating them and letting them know about the things they don't know, because there's so many opportunities and ways to invest in yourself. But I'm gonna say integrity. When you join the Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce, we want you to be a person of integrity. Handle your business, right? And don't take advantage of people.
And I would say also, and I'll just add to this, be in a mind frame of being an active member. Don't just be a member and don't leverage the resources and opportunities that are afforded to you. Actively participate, because it's only going to work as hard as you work for it, right? So don't be passive in the membership, because we offer a lot to our members for free. Actively engage and you'll see the benefits of it.
Yeah, so is there a proven higher success rates for the businesses that are part of you all's Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce, you believe?
There's not a proven, because that will require research, right? And so the research on the actual black business community is minimal. I know this because I'm in a PhD program right now for entrepreneurship, and I want to write about black businesses. You can only find minority. Minority is inclusive of all racial backgrounds, including white women.
Wow.
So to answer your question, is there proven research? Not in the books, but can we say that there is a greater level of sustainability, an increase in money, revenue, and profit? Absolutely. Because for us, when we know about you, we connect you with other people. So being a member of the chamber, when you're on a Zoom call, when you come to an event in person, there's always going to be an opportunity to connect and grow your membership base or your client base.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned earlier that you all were struggling with funding. How did y'all get out of that hole, and what are you doing now to get the funding that you need?
So, transparently speaking,
Who said we got out of it?
yeah. We've never, it's interesting because even as a black organization supporting other black organizations, we've never gotten out of it ourselves, because we still carry the hardship of getting funding too. So nothing has changed for us in that realm. We just manage it is the best way. We have people who believe in us that show up as sponsors. It might be in kind. It may be monetarily. It could be they know someone that's willing to give us some help in a certain area. But we've never gotten from under financial hardship, to be honest with you. We just continue to keep pushing, because our mission is to continue to help other black businesses thrive. So I would say we just take it on the chin with grace and keep moving, but we still have our own financial struggles because it's not easy for us to walk into a bank and get a loan.
Right.
We've been given astronomical interest rates. I call it a predatory loan. We've gotten one of those before because we've had to take a L on some things that we wanted to do for the community. And that's really why we're here. I mean, we don't look at it as a loss. It's just a learning opportunity for us. But it doesn't stop. I'll say she because she's the day to day. She's constantly on the phone trying to get sponsorship, trying to get funding. So I can honestly say any hardship that any of our businesses have, we completely understand because we have our own business and then we have these businesses too. So
sounds like you guys are very resilient, I would say.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to money, it's tough.
It's not easy. As a nonprofit organization, we do have the avenue of applying for grants. So like recently we applied for a grant, it's 18 pages. We'll know by the end of this month if we receive that grant. It's for $20,000. But we have a business accelerator program, and that program affords us the opportunity to truly take a class of business owners and elevate and amplify their journey. And we had our first cohort graduate yesterday. Well, through that program, we did receive, I want to say it was a $96,000 grant from an organization here in Virginia called Go Virginia Region 6. So Go Virginia has regions all throughout the state. Well, Region 6, which is our region, provided us with a grant. It was a one-to-one match, so the program cost us about $200,000 to put on, and they offered half of that in grant funding. And so it's opportunities like that that do afford us the chance to give back to the community and not have a hardship. So that particular program, because in a nonprofit you have different programs. So that particular program, yes, we are okay under that program, but that funding only covered 2 cohorts. So if we want to continue that program for another 2 cohorts after this next one, we have to find more funding. So I have to get on the phone and call people and ask for sponsorships, send out emails, fill out grant applications. It's a lot of work.
Is that the majority of what you do?
I think that's 90% of what she does because I know I'm just messing up a little high, but it is a good part of what she does because realistically, and this is an educational piece of it too, with a grant like that, it's reimbursable. So they don't give you the money up front. You have to spend the money before you get it back, right? So most people are like, oh, wow, you got a $98,000 grant. You're good. We're not because you got to spend $98,000 or at least get people who will do an in-kind sponsorship for their services that match a certain amount. So it still goes back to cash on hand and things like that. So she is maybe not at 30%. I was over exaggerating. But she is constantly on the phone trying to get funding for those reasons. So.
And with that, and I because this is recorded, it was 96 or 98. Just in case somebody asked. Like, you know, you got those people. You got those people. The numbers on the website. But a large part of the job is securing funding. The other piece of it is creating opportunities, developing programs, holding events. Next month, we're going to Virginia Beach, and we're hosting an event. We're hosting an event in Richmond. We're hosting an event in Loudoun County. This week we'll be in Richmond for 2 days. Earlier this month we were in Roanoke, we were in Henrico. So we move around a lot because we cover the state. So a large part of my job is figuring out where we're going and what we're gonna do there, and then how we're gonna pay for it.
Yeah, what are some of the things you do at these conventions? And I know you mentioned these workshops too.
So most recently when she was invited to speak at Virginia Tech is one school to an entrepreneurship course.
That was Virginia Union.
Oh, no, that was the honors program.
Oh, okay.
So she getting mixed up. She went to Virginia Union as well the day before that to speak to their honor society for entrepreneurship. So she keynoted that and then did a keynote at Virginia Tech, like I said. So, and so a lot of times,
and I spoke to one of the classes too.
Yeah, the professors allowed her to speak to the class to give them a journey into entrepreneurship, what that looked like, even personally for her, but just some tips and just some insight into what entrepreneurship really looks like because it looks good on Instagram and on Facebook, but it's a lot of risk, a lot of hard work, and all the things. So typically they'll ask Nisha to do a lot of panel speaking, conferences. Sometimes it's for our educational purposes. Like, we'll attend a conference with the U.S. Black Chambers, and that's to educate us on what we can provide to our members. So we have to stay informed as well on what's going on because we're also in advocacy. So we need to make sure we know what type of policy is out there, things of that nature. So it kind of runs the gamut what we go to things for, but we'll go to business summits, things like that. So.
And I think you also were asking, like, what are we delivering? Like our deliverables in education. Is that what you meant? Like, what kind of
in the workshops and stuff events that you all throw.
Okay, so for example, this week we have a GovCon conference. It's an 8-hour conference that's going to teach you about government contracting from the local level, state level, and federal level. We have over 20 speakers, and some of them are from state agencies. We have someone from the Department of State coming. We have someone from Henrico County, a few people from Henrico County government. We have Small Business Supplier Diversity. They're also one of our sponsors. So that's one of the opportunities. But then we also offer courses in finance, accounting. Chase Bank hosts a few of our webinars. They're the facilitators of those. We did a few workshops with Wix, so teaching about search engine optimization, the importance of having a website. We actually had Wix, the company, come on. Instead of like having someone else teach it, I reached out to them and they were more than willing and happy to come on our platform and teach virtually. What are a few other things? Last week we had a 3-hour webinar on veterans. How does a veteran, when you're transitioning from out of the military and then becoming an entrepreneur, what are those steps you have to take? We also offer opportunities. So sometimes it's not necessarily education and running your business, but opportunities for your business. So the state of Virginia has a program where if you sit in this workshop or webinar, I think it's about 3 or 4 hours, you take a few courses, you pass. You do have to attend it live, so it's not something you can watch and do later, but you then can get an intern. And the state pays 50% of the hourly wage for that intern. So what is that doing? That's building the workforce, that's building your community, and it's building your company, because now you're getting a college graduate or a current college student working for you. And if you say, okay, I can pay them $20 an hour, well, really, the state's paying $10 and you're paying $10. You know how much that helps the business owner? So that was something that we just recently hosted with the University of Mary Washington, but the program is for the whole state of Virginia. A lot of Black business owners didn't know about that program. And now they all have employees that they never thought they'd have anytime soon because of the cost.
Yeah.
When you have an employee, if you pay that employee even $15 an hour, once you cover the fees, the taxes, Social Security, and everything that goes with it, that 15 is now $20 an hour. But through this program, you're only paying half of that.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that we're bringing to our members.
Right. And how involved are you all with politics?
So politics is something new in our journey, because as a 501c3, the Virginia Black Business Directory, we couldn't get into that. We didn't want to impact our status as a nonprofit organization. So effective this year, we've created a Government Affairs and Economic Development Committee. We are talking with delegates and senators on ways in which we can continue to amplify the visibility and the economic sustainability of Black business owners. So we're learning and we are walking through that journey, and we're welcoming the community to be a part of that so that we can find out what they need. Because politics for our organization is not just about business, it's also about housing, because as a business owner, you need a place to live. It might be about elderly care. It may be about healthcare, because many entrepreneurs who are full-time, they don't have health insurance, or it's an astronomical price. So those are the ways that we plan on getting involved in politics.
Yeah, listening to you, I don't know, it just feels very motivational. You know what I mean? Like, you got a lot of people, especially Black, us, you know what I mean, that want to start businesses that, you know, are afraid of the politics, or, you know what I mean, how they're going to get funded or whatnot. So what you guys are doing is amazing. You know what I mean? It's even got me like, you know, we got businesses, you know what I mean? It's just like, it just sounds very motivational. You know?
Yeah. We need the politicians to feel that and get behind
Oh,
y'all
yeah.
more than, you know, you all getting behind them. Because a lot of the causes that you all are fighting for are the same things that they claim to be fighting for. You know?
Yeah.
So bridging that gap would be a power move for both parties, you know.
We had Advocacy Day in February this year. We all went down to the state capitol. We had 100 business owners register to come with us. And we met our delegates and senators. They came in the room, they talked with us. Then we had a little reception afterwards. But it was an amazing day. Like, we also received a proclamation from the General Assembly and a standing ovation, I must say.
Okay.
But it was just for the business owners to now learn that they do have a voice and how to navigate the way of having their voice heard. Because sometimes it's just not knowing how to do it. And so if we can find out how and spread the word, then that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
So what's the goal? Is there a specific goal or number of businesses that you want to get under the BCC, or what is there? Not just businesses, but what's the ideal situation for?
I'll let her take that because she's a visionary. She's a visionary. Like, you know, she's a leader. So we follow because she has the end goal in mind, and we trust her decisions. So, and when I say we, I mean the board that governs for her. So I'll let you have that. What is your vision? She probably will say she would like every black business in the state of Virginia to be a part of the chamber.
She said it.
Yeah.
She said it. Like, realistically, the end goal, truthfully, would be to reduce the rate in which black businesses are closing. So have an impact on that. That would be one of the end goals. Another end goal. So when we started the directory, as you see on that one, the colors are yellow, black, and white. And so I grew up in New York. My grandmother lived in Queens, and she lived in an apartment building. So I always remember every so often you hear a big thump on the door. And that was the yellow pages. And that's how she found all her service providers. So for me, for my generation, it was the yellow pages. I know for the generation before us, it was the green book. And so my goal was like, we're going to create a directory, a yellow pages of black businesses here in Virginia. And I want it to be this thick or bigger. I want, when we are looking for a product or a service or anything, entertainment included, because we have entertainers listed in the directory. When you're looking for that, you're being intentional in supporting the black business community and supporting a family and helping someone to build a legacy. So that's the vision.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, are these online? And if not, where do we get these?
So the digital version of the directory is online on our website, vablackchamberofcommerce.org or vablackchamber.org. So you can go on there, you can actually do search features. But then we also, the printed directories once a year. So that's more of a keepsake. And what happened with that also, like I said, made me think of my grandmother. Then I met an elderly woman here in Fredericksburg, and she was like, she was in her 60s and her mom was still alive, and she was like, I want one for my mother. Like, my mother would love to just be able to touch and feel. And so that's why we still print it once a year, for that nostalgia, for that sense of pride, because you can also put advertisements in there. And so it's all year round that we circulate it.
It seems y'all have such a passion for the black community. Where did this come from, especially in Virginia? Because you're from New York, right?
I'm from New York.
I grew up mostly in Virginia.
Okay. I mean, just growing up and seeing businesses fail or trying yourselves, or what made you care so much?
So my passion comes for black people, period. So growing up in New York, I grew up in South Jamaica, Queens. My initial goal was to be a licensed, well, let me start. My initial goal was to become a lawyer. So I wanted to reduce the rate of black recidivism for black men in New York. I live close to Rikers Island, and I'm like, oh, we're going to stop my people from going back to jail, because some of these people were my friends, people I grew up with. So that was the first step. Then law school is kind of pricey. It wasn't on my path or my agenda, so I had to move the button, and I wanted to become a licensed clinical social worker. So then I also started working for Child Protective Services, helping black families, teaching black mothers. I volunteered as a family preservation specialist. My heart and soul has always been helping black people. And coming here, and I'm not a licensed clinical social worker, but I do have my master's in social work. And I started to do that here in Fredericksburg, and then the pandemic happened.
Oh, I see.
And so when the pandemic happened, that's how this all shifted to businesses. How can I still give back to my community and take care of my people? And it was through businesses. Because if a business is successful and their home is successful, they can better successfully take care of their children.
So when you say that was not the initial. When you say social, what kind of work on that?
You do everything, man. You listening like you motivational speakers, like keynotes or what?
Keynote speaker.
Yeah.
What about you, Tracy? Where did this passion come from for you?
I would say my passion comes from just being a person who wants to help. I say underserved individuals. The black piece has always been there, obviously, because I'm black. But my mother is white. So, there was a moment in time where I was like, am I being too pro black? But, at the end of the day, I have to show up as a black gay woman at work. And so learning that journey and having a business, going into meetings with Ernisha, seeing how we were treated, that's where my passion stems from. It stems from wanting to change the root cause of the problem, and wanting to really just see a shift in how people see black businesses. So, more so, and I also do this. I do civil rights full time for my full time job. So I'm always in the midst of that. So just kind of showed up and manifested itself.
We gotta have you on a whole nother show.
Okay.
But you mentioned something about how you have to show up, and with your mother being white. Like I was thinking about it earlier when you were saying, like, we already can't just. It's hard for me to personally walk into a bank and get a loan for myself, right? So was that a big fear for you guys? You got a whole black chamber of commerce. You know what I mean? Like, what types of adversities do you deal with when it comes to that?
The same. So it's the same. I think people believe because I'm more fair than she is that it's going to be easier, but it's not. I do not show up or present as easily white as I think people believe. So we still, and then we're going in as a married couple, a black lesbian couple. So it's layered when we go into these banks. And they're still seeing us as risk adverse, regardless of the work that we put in, regardless of our reputation. They see black first, unfortunately. Right. And so it's been very difficult in that regard.
So that's like a triple minority, like a woman, black, and lesbian. Yes. So what would you tell the people that fit that category? What advice or inspiration would you give them?
I would say be resilient. That's easier said than done, but it's hard. You just got to be resilient. It's not easy being a business owner, especially a black business owner. So I would say be intentional with your business. Show up correct. Don't show up to the bank without the proper documentation. I was actually on a call with a bank president earlier this week, and she said, my black businesses, they know what documents they need to have, but then they'll show up to the bank without them and still ask for a loan. It's really about showing up correct, right? Showing up intentionally and making sure that your marketing, your branding, make sure you have your logo, your this, your that. You want to present like our counterparts present, because when they show up A1. Like, they're going to make sure they show up correctly, and we have to do the same. Because no one's going to make it easier for us if we don't, so.
How do you break that stereotype within the businesses in the VA, BCC of being too down to earth, or feeling like they're not going to get the best treatment because it's a black-owned business? The stereotype. Is that something out of the workshops that y'all tightening that game?
It's really about knowing your audience, right? Again, my mother used to always tell me it's a time and place for everything, Ernisha. And you gotta know your audience. Right now, we're cool, right? I'm thinking in my head, damn, I could have worn my t-shirt, right? I'm feeling like that's how I feel. But then at the same time, now I'm gonna switch it up. I don't know who might be watching this podcast, The next $1 million member could be watching this podcast, and what they don't want is someone wearing a t-shirt. So it's a difference. You see how the body language will change, the tone of the voice may change, my movement, my hand, that's how I talk with my hands. But you just have to really know your audience and also understand there's a time and place for everything. And as black business owners, what I'm going to say, and I said this to someone today, your mortgage company or your landlord, they don't want the homegirl hookup. They want a check. In the same way you want a check, you need to present yourself to receive that check.
It's true. And first impressions are everything. everything. Like people that they let that get by them, but it's everything. So just show up correct.
Yeah.
So, what do you all think is the biggest accomplishment so far that you, since establishing VABCC?
I'm gonna say for
Yesterday.
me, I'm gonna say
Yesterday.
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 So Ernisha and I really put our everything into this business accelerator, and it showed. And the students felt it, and they showed up and showed out. We graduated 21 students yesterday, and it was a 7-week commitment, and they dug in and did every week with us without complaints, and they showed up and showed out, and you could tell that they wanted it as bad as we wanted it for them. That just coming together yesterday to see them walk across the stage to get their certificate and just be celebrated, that was like, it was the defining moment for me. It was, we couldn't even take it in yesterday. It was too much.
We got home, we ate, laid down did we get a nap? Did we even get a nap? I don't think so. But it's just, I still, by the end of the day, I ate something and I said, oh, is this my first time eating today? And then I said, oh, no, we had a whole graduation ceremony today. That's how surreal it felt. But what really felt good was we had a pitch contest. And so when you asked about my vision is even greater than yesterday's, but yesterday I felt so good. So we had the graduates pitch their business to the audience, but we had three judges who were members of the community. They were not members of our organization. They didn't know, they weren't staff or anything. They listened to the pitches and they went back and they discussed who the winners would be. Well, first prize was $2,500. Second prize was $1,500. And then third prize was $1,000. So we were able. These are for adults. Yeah, these are for adults. Oh, we do give grants and scholarships to youth. We've given that out. Last year we gave out 3 brand new laptops to youth entrepreneurs with all the bells and whistles and accessories. The year before we gave out 2 $1,000 scholarships. So every year we do give back to young entrepreneurs as well. But yesterday in the Business Accelerator program, 3 people walked away with checks to feed into their business, to invest into themselves. And it was 25, 15, and 1. Well, I'm hoping by the time this whole accelerator becomes larger, that it's 5, 5, and 5, 75, and 10, or something like that. Like something that is really going to be impactful, where it might help them to hire a part-time employee. It might help them to pay the lease on a facility if they're producing something, or it might help them to buy a new high-tech camera or something like that. So that's what I want to see. I want to be able to see as many businesses as possible say, I wanted that for my business and now I can get it because the Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce linked me to that opportunity.
Yeah. Y'all do so much for so many people. Does anyone give back to y'all, like pour into y'all?
Yeah, in other ways, I would say so. We have a very strong board that I believe pours into us through their time, their commitment, their selflessness, because we work hard. We're a working board. So if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's a board that works. Like it's a full-time job.
And they don't get paid.
We don't get paid. So, when you have people who support you and ride and die with you and don't have their hand or expect anything, that's really watching them help us with a vision for the organization without needing or wanting anything from us, I think pours back into us because it saves us in other ways. And then we just find time to pour into each other. Like, and we value what we do and we love what we do. So I don't know if I've ever even thought about if anybody's poured back into us too much, but I think they do.
I think about it.
The community definitely, I would say they love on us. They really do. Even in this, when they see us out, they just treat us so well and they just love us and we love them. So I think that's enough.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna say this. There are gonna be ebbs and flows, peaks and valleys throughout this process. We have some people who don't love on us, who don't pour into us.
For sure.
But the greater majority, like even just being here today and having this opportunity, this is pouring into us. This is loving on us. And just meeting all of you, knowing that you're from this community, that is big. That feeds me. That's like, oh, okay, this is like, it's so exciting to me. Like, for me, I'm fed every time someone says thank you, every time someone says I made a difference. That's what feeds me.
Thank you. You made a difference.
And every time someone takes something that is given to them and they run with it, right? That is paying homage to us. I believe the hard work that we put in. Even outside of the 3 winners yesterday, there were 17. I did that math wrong, I think, but 18 other business owners that depending upon what they take from that accelerator, excuse me, that can have generational impact, right? So that doesn't get by us in terms of the impact it has on a larger scheme of things. That's generational. If somebody takes what they learned and they really get their business off the ground the way they want to. That's sustainability. So we can say we touched that many lives. That's enough for us.
Yeah. No, y'all give great energy, and I feel like y'all accomplishing great things, but then you're still faced with so much adversity and setbacks, and I think that's what's keeping you all grounded. And that's why people are willing to pour into you all and stuff. So it's important to think about yourselves too, as much as you're thinking about others. So definitely appreciate what you all are doing.
Man, I want to hear about I want to know, is the biggest thing, it's safe to say the biggest adventure I do for Fredericksburg is the annual expo, is that correct? So we didn't miss that, dude. That's coming up.
So the Virginia Black Business Expo Conference is our largest event. It is 3 days, and last year was our last year in Fredericksburg.
Oh, wow.
We were in Fredericksburg for 4 years with that event. And we have business owners, community members, people coming, politicians coming from all over the state, including DC and Maryland. So we were presented with an opportunity to partner with the Hyatt Regency in Crystal City. They presented an opportunity that we couldn't turn away. And for our 5th year, which is this year, we will now be in Arlington, Virginia.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So can you tell us anything about what y'all got planned for anything?
Yeah, we could tell.
We typically keep it a secret, but yeah.
So this year it is the same format. So we start off on Friday night. Typically it's a networking event. Well, this year we're going to do a comedy show. So we're going to incorporate networking with comedy. Laugh a little. Being an entrepreneur is hard work. So this is a good opportunity. Just laugh, enjoy. You're coming in Friday night. Then on Saturday morning, one area of the hotel will be an expo with Black business owners. Up to 115 business owners that you can shop from, learn from, because some of them are going to be service providers. Just opportunities. And it's going to be free and open to the community for free. So if you don't want to do anything and pay for anything the whole weekend, go and shop Black. Support these business owners. Then in another area, we're going to have a conference. So that's going to be an all-day conference simultaneously going on with the expo. That evening, the Great Blacksby Gala and Black Business Awards, which those awards, the nominations are put on publicly. So we'll put it on social media and through email, have people nominate. Then from those nominees, you get to choose your winner. Then on Sunday morning, we'll have a State of the Chamber, which we will talk about what has happened great and challenging for the Chamber, but what's to come for the Chamber. And we hope that, God willing, we receive the funding that we're looking for. We want to be passing out checks that morning during the State of the Chamber to Black business owners. After that, we'll have brunch with some music, some live music. After brunch, people can go back, shop Black. They get to shop again for another few hours. I think the vendors will be there for about 6 hours on Sunday. And then for dinner, we're going to end it off with a dinner cruise with the Spirit of Washington.
Wow.
And so,
Okay.
I can't give too much more detail because we're working on the negotiating to make sure that we have the private deck. So to hold up to 220 people, I believe, with a DJ. And we're hoping to have a DJ from the local radio station in DC. So we're still working on those details. And we'll see what other surprises we might pull out. But every year we do have some form of surprise, and we just don't,
Well, we appreciate the insight. Is there a date set for that?
Yes, the first weekend of August. So August 2nd through the 4th. You check in on Friday, check out on Monday morning. And that kicks off National Black Business Month. So a lot of people don't realize why we do it in August. It's because it is National Black Business Month in August.
Makes sense to me. And I know you said you all get funding through grants and stuff. Where can people go to donate or get involved?
So they can go to our website, the vablackchamber.org. You can even type in VABCC. BDD.
We have a few domains.
Yeah, we have a
That's
few.
the lesson in business. When you're a business owner, secure the .com, the .org, the .net of your business name. So we have virtually all of them, the short versions and the long versions. But you can go to our website, vablackchamber.org, and there's an opportunity that shows you how you can get involved as a volunteer. You may not have money to give, but if you have time to give, we would love for you to join one of our committees. Another way is we have called a website called Give Butter. We'll put the link on our website. But if you donate to this campaign under Give Butter, that actually goes directly into our micro grant pot. So every quarter we give a $500 micro grant to a Black business owner, to one of our members. The goal is to get to doing it every month. Once we get to every month, then we will increase that to $1,000 and so forth and so on. But that campaign, when you give to it, that specific campaign helps us to give a grant every quarter to a business owner.
Love it. Love it. Let me think. Well, is there anything in particular that you all want to share with the audience, or a message that you all want to give to small businesses that are out there that you haven't already covered, because y'all have ran down the script? We didn't even have to really ask these questions. Y'all answered
The
them.
first 5 minutes, you answered about 8 of them.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all
Yeah.
good.
What you got?
I would say find your tribe, find some support system. We would love to have you with the chamber. We have a bunch of resources that we can provide. It is totally worth the membership in so many different ways. Access to grant opportunities, things of that sort, even for those businesses. But even aside from that, just find your tribe, because you're going to need the support. It's not going to be easy, and you're going to want to give up sometimes, but don't. And sometimes it's just you need someone to just give you that extra push, to give you that motivational talk, to just help you find your way. Whatever you may not know, somebody else may know. So just leveraging resources, and just support systems that you may have, because you can't do it in a silo. You can't do it alone. Nothing can be done alone. So you need to do it. Whatever that community looks like for you, you need to latch on to something. So.
Do you all collaborate with chambers in other states at all?
So not in other states. Actually, no. Shame on me. I've been talking with the Maryland Black Chamber of Commerce. I was recently introduced to the DC Black Chamber of Commerce. So I've spoken to the Atlanta Black Chamber of Commerce to get mentorship, because they're very successful out there in Atlanta. I've reached out to the New Jersey African American Chamber of Commerce, but to have an actual event together, we haven't. Like, do we talk and get to know each other, exchange ideas, offer that informal mentorship? Absolutely. As members of the U.S. Black Chambers of Commerce, there's a conference every year, and we attend that conference, and that's where we get to meet other leaders in our field.
Got you.
Yeah.
And you did tell me this all started in Philadelphia, right? The Black Chamber all together, right? Was it New Jersey?
No, I don't know where the first Black Chamber
I thought
started.
you told me it was up there.
No, actually, no. Shame on me. So you have the National Black Chamber of Commerce. I want to say that was the very first Black Chamber, and don't quote me, y'all can Google it, but it's over 50 years old. Yeah. And then during the Obama administration, the U.S. Black Chamber of Commerce was created. But I want to say both their headquarters are out of D.C., because D.C. is the capital of the world. So. Or capital of the states, right? There goes my geography. But so I want to say that's where their addresses are out of. But every state, just about, even in Albuquerque, New Mexico, they have a Black Chamber of Commerce.
I think someone just told us that Utah does, and they have a very robust Chamber of Commerce. And I'm
Black
like,
Chamber,
Utah?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So no matter where you are, if you're watching this podcast, if you don't live in Virginia, look up your local Black Chamber in your state and get that support, build those connections.
Yeah, and what are some of the perks of being a chamber versus a directorate, which you all started?
I can give an example.
Yeah.
A major national multi-trillion-dollar bank said, we have a fund specifically for chambers of commerce. When you get your 501c6 and become a chamber, call us. That alone, because so we know that there are a lot of nonprofit organizations that are business focused, black focused, community focused. So all of those organizations that are 501c3s are fighting for the same pool of money. So what I learned is if this pool of money is available in, let's say, the Fredericksburg region, and 5 organizations apply for it, of course only one is going to get it. But if they all figure out how to work together and apply together, the amount that they can get to share with one another is going to be greater.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I'm definitely like learning to navigate in this world is like you have to understand, like she said, find your tribe and how do you collaborate and partner with other people who are doing similar things. But there is a big difference from being a 501c3 nonprofit organization to being a 501c6 nonprofit chamber. Very different waters that you navigate.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you all are definitely creating a tribe, and I challenge all the black small business owners in at least Virginia to get involved and get behind what these ladies are doing.
I think everywhere, you know, like you said, wherever you at, man, the challenge is look up your Black Chamber of Commerce. You know?
Yeah.
You already told us how much you offer, you know what I mean? So we already know there's a lot of benefits. So we always say, well, do something different, right?
Do something different.
Yeah.
I like that. Do something different. You're right.
No, we appreciate you all providing this opportunity for us to speak to you, and share this knowledge with our audience, and hopefully this will get some more, another 1,100, you know, behind the VABCC, and once again, thank y'all for the work you're doing in the community.
Can I say something?
Please do.
What I would ask, because you two being black men, our hardest group of members to get to sign up are black men.
Why is that?
I would ask y'all. You know, you want to do a survey. I could tell you, barbershops, we can't get them. Anyone that deals with cars, mechanics, we can get auto detailers, but not mechanics. People who do like handyman services or any type of home improvement. You know how many people say, hey, do you have a person that can do this, can fix this, can fix that? Or do you know a local barber? People who move to the area. See, barbers take for granted, oh, you know, I've been here, everybody knows me. But when someone's moving to an area, they're looking for these things. But I will tell you that even when we have events, it shows at least somewhere between 70 and 80% of the people that attend anything that we do are women.
Might be good for you, Emmys.
You know, I'm thinking Twandos, you know,
but I'm very serious, right? So it's kind of like, and I'll even tell you how it can be even greater, right? So we didn't have a women's network, but now we do. And so what I say to our members, if it's something that you want and you need, but it's hard for you to kick it off as an individual, but it's a part of a give back to the community, right? Then how do we bring that into the chamber? So now we have a women's network, and we have a committee that's working on events specifically for women, at least one event a month that caters to women, whether it's virtually or whether it's in person. We have chamber ambassadors. We only have 2 chamber ambassadors in Fredericksburg. They're women. We have chamber ambassadors in Loudoun and Prince William County. They're women. We don't have any male chamber ambassadors. I said I wanted to do a program specifically for men. Somebody said, do a survey first because they might not show up. And I'm like, so that's our struggle. We're 2 women leading the organization. We have 2 males on the board. We had a third. He'll be back. He's on leave right now. But even still, it's how do you get the men, entrepreneurs, to join these organizations, to be a part of this? And to have their voices be heard. What do you need as a black man? How can we support you? How can we serve you and elevate what you're doing?
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting.
Oh, that wasn't
I don't know
rhetorical.
the answer
Yeah, I
to
know.
that.
Okay.
I'm sitting here like, and I know we joked about it, but I appreciate you pointing that out because, like I said, we have businesses, you know.
And that could be an offline conversation that we can meet up and talk about. But I want to do that as well.
Now you saying you can't get these men? Are you reaching out? Do you guys reach out to them?
Absolute on the phone.
They doing their
through
job.
email. Oh yeah. But do we get the runaround? Oh Oh yeah, we definitely do. I'll get back to it. So, and it really could be that they're so deep in their grind that they don't understand how an organization like this can magnify what they're doing.
Yeah, or too good to be true. I don't know. That's a good question.
Sometimes
yeah.
it could be, yeah.
That's interesting.
Something to take away.
Yeah.
Action item.
Yeah, that's definitely that's a challenge for us, fellas.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. How you gonna act? Already. Well, anything else that you point out that you want to get, or anybody else you want to get involved? You can call these businesses out by name if you want.
I won't do that. But I definitely, that's what I would love to see. If we could walk away from something, I know that the call to action is, everybody join, but I want to see my black men step up. I want to see them be a part of this process and this journey, and I want to know how we can serve them.
Well, y'all heard that right here, no cap. We out.